So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my top 3 areas I would treat when it comes to medial epicondylopathies. Basically, that's a big word for saying inner elbow symptoms. So the first thing I would want to treat are these wrist flexors right in through here. The second thing I would treat is the pronator teres, which is a muscle that attaches from the inner pinky side elbow to the outer forearm on the thumb side. So that's the pronator teres. And number 3 would be the flexor carpi ulnaris, which is a deep muscle on the inner part of the pinky side of the forearm. So let's break it down. So in order to get the wrist flexors, I'll make sure the dock and roll is at a comfortable level, so when I bend at my hips, I can easily place it on top. So what I'm going to do is I'll place it on top just like this. I'll start at my wrist. I can either start with my elbow straight or with my elbow bent. From there, I'll add some pressure directly on top and then just kind of slowly go through the range of motion, going from my elbow all the way towards my wrist. Again, I can try with my elbow straight all the way out to my elbow and all the way back in towards my wrist. I can also do it a different way where I kind of swivel in and out, so my forearm is going in and out like that, so I'm getting different areas. So I'm going a little bit more on the outside of my forearm and tacking it down and going through that same range of motion, either with my elbow straight or with my elbow bent. And then I'm turning it inward a little bit, so my thumb is pointing downward towards the floor slightly, getting different groups of that wrist flexor muscle group right in through there. And then after that, I can also do a different method where I tack down that area. I'll grab the dock and roll and pull upward so that my forearm pushes down on the treatment forearm. So I'll grab it just like that and do the exact same thing that you just did. So elbow straight or elbow bent, going from elbow all the way to wrist, going back and forth that direction. So I can start it like that, going all the way through, just like so. In order to get the pronator teres, which goes from here all the way to the thumb side of the forearm, you want to make sure that the dock and roll is at a level that you feel comfortable with when you take a knee. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this side as a treatment side. What I want to do is I want to start with my thumb or my palm facing downward, that area that I'm treating. So I'm starting right where my elbow bends, right below it. I'll place it right on the dock and roll, on the inner part of the elbow. From there, with my palm down, or my thumb down even, I can point my thumb up towards the ceiling just like that. So I'm pointing downward, I'm putting pressure, applying pressure directly on the dock and roll, thumb down, slowly bring my thumb up towards the ceiling. And then I'll go towards mid forearm, that's as far as you want to go, thumb down to palm up. So again, you'll start at the elbow where the elbow bends, you'll add some pressure straight downward, start with your thumb downward, and then bring the thumb upward. Then find another spot, hold it there, thumb down to thumb up. When you're doing this motion of thumb down to thumb up, that's actually going and taking the pronator teres from a shortened position to a lengthened position, and you applying pressure on it will kind of loosen that up. Now, in order to get the flexor carpi ulnaris, which is that inner muscle on the pinky side right in through here, you want to make sure that you go on the edges of the dock and roll. So if this was the edge of the dock and roll right here, you want to make sure that that muscle is right on the edge of it. That's where you're actually kind of loosening it up. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you on this side first. So I'm taking the dock and roll. If my fist was a dock and roll, I'll press it right on the inside. That shaft of that forearm, I'm going to go right off of it so I can go into it a little bit more and actually add some pressure with the dock and roll against it. And then I'll go up and down against that flexor carpi ulnaris. So I'll go into this position. I'm sticking my forearm just right off of the edge of the dock and roll. So now I'm adding pressure directly on top of the dock and roll. So now the shaft is not on the dock and roll, but the muscle is pushed just like that with the dock and roll, so I can sink into that muscle. So I'll go just like that. I'll start at my wrist, and then I'll go all the way to where my elbow is. Now I'm controlling the motion with my other hand. I'm controlling the dock and roll just so I don't slip off of it. So again, I'll find that position, start right here, and then going slowly all the way out. Let me show you the flexor carpi ulnaris on this side. So again, I'm going towards the end of the dock and roll, just like this. If this was the end of the dock and roll right in through here, I'm going to put the shaft of the forearm bone directly off of it, just like that. So when I go directly off of it, that muscle will be exposed so I can push that muscle against the dock and roll. So I'll go right in through here. I'll start near my elbow. I'll sink my forearm into it. I'll control it with this hand, kind of going like this as I creep up towards my wrist. So I'm going right on that flexor carpi ulnaris. So I'll take my hand out so you can see. Just like that, I'm on the edge of the dock and roll going through the range of motion. So again, the dock and roll would be right in through here. When I put the dock and roll just like that, notice how there's some area right underneath my forearm. That area right in through here is the flexor carpi ulnaris, and that's what you're going to be using with the dock and roll. So there you have it, the top 3 areas I would treat when it comes to medial epicondylopathies. Again, inner elbow issues. Number 1 would be the wrist flexors. Number 2 would be the pronator teres, which attaches from the elbow to mid forearm on the thumb side. And number 3 would be the flexor carpi ulnaris, which is that muscle on the pinky side, right next to the shaft of the forearm bone. Thanks a lot for joining me.